Hello and welcome to the Press Start podcast, Press Start Australia's weekly video game discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ewan, joined today by my fellow gamers and co-hosts, Shannon.
Hello.
Brody.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
I do need to apologise for the show being a little bit late this week, but Shannon and Brody, we wanted to make sure that we had you both back from LA because you two were both lucky enough to head out over there and check out everything to do with Game Fest. That is very much going to be the topic of the show today. I want to chat about all the announcements that took place, what games the two of you got to play, and I guess re-evaluate our predictions as well, seeing as it was not long ago we put our predictions in for the show. I'm eager to kind of grade us and see how we did. But first, Shannon and Brody, obviously you were in LA. You got to spend a bit of quality time together in the sun at Universal Studios. I want to hear about that. How was it just hanging out at Universal Studios?
It was fun. I'm sure Mark felt like a bit of a third wheel. But it was good. I obviously have never been there before. It was good to do the studio tour. I almost welled up at the sight of the DeLorean and the clock tower building and stuff. It's very nice. But Super Nintendo Land was really cool. Some of the rides were fun. Shannon got a bit scared on the Jurassic World ride and had to cuddle up to me.
Was this the picture? I think I saw one of you post where like Mark is leaning in hugging you, Shannon, but you're leaning in and hugging Brody.
Yeah.
So good.
It was scary. I feel like the safety thing wasn't secure, so my ass came out of the seat in like a pitch black drop. So Brody was my protector in that moment. But no, it was a fun time. It was a little bit rushed because we flew out that day. But Nintendo World was very magical. I've done Universal before, but seeing Nintendo World and The Simpsons is never old. And specifically Nintendo World, like it just was magical how it like blended into the LA blue sky. Very overwhelming, and would love to go back.
I'm the only one of this group now to not go to a Nintendo World of Sorts, because James, you obviously went to the one in Japan as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will say the Mario Kart underwhelmed me a little bit. I guess we did Disney and Universal back to back, but compared to some of the Disney rides, like Rise of the Resistance, Mario Kart fell a little bit flat. My band also did not work, so I felt like that was a waste of $70.
Oh.
But the actual world itself is top notch.
Yeah, cool. I'm surprised I haven't seen just like a total onslaught of pictures taken from Nintendo World Land.
I've got a lot of content just waiting to be posted from the last 2 weeks of life, so you can look forward to that.
Nice. Well, we better get stuck into some of the video game news. I want to start just by kind of like talking about what announcement stood out to us from the show. Obviously, there's an awful lot. We could be here for hours kind of dissecting each one. We do have like full wrap-ups on the website of all the announcements that had. James, I think you spent a lot of time putting those together and making sure the trailers were embedded. So if you want to see a full list of everything, that's probably the best place to go.
And previews for all of these too, I think, just before I forget, are all on the website as well. So
yeah, we're going to talk about some previews today, but there is more to come that I think are still under embargoes of sorts. So stay tuned to the website for those, and I'm sure we'll talk about them in future episodes as well. But James, I want to start with you. What announcements excited you from the Summer Game Fest showcases?
My first is probably Perfect Dark. Very excited to see that. Obviously, I kind of had gotten ready for it to not appear, and obviously it has. I have seen people say it looks really fake. I don't know if does it? Does anyone else feel that way here?
I thought the accusations I did sort of seen leveled against it was that it was like maybe just a very vertical slice, and it kind of could have been anything as opposed to like being very distinctly Perfect Dark.
I think I mean the footage itself was not amazing, but I think it was fine. But I think like reading the interviews and stuff conceptually of it, it really excites me. It's obviously riffing on games like Dishonored and Deus Ex and stuff, where it just gives you this really dense playground in Cairo to explore, and I think that's a really cool fit for Perfect Dark. Like I feel like Perfect Dark, as it was, just wouldn't really fly today. So to see that kind of brought in as an immersive sim would be like a really cool idea. So I'm very excited for that, even though I'm very sure it's at least 2 to 3 years away still. It is probably like the big one for me from Xbox.
Yeah. I was
also
not
like
having any affinity or history with Perfect Dark myself. It was one of the trailers that stood out to me. It just kind of very much speaks to the kind of game I'm into. Reminded me a bit of Control, I think. Maybe it's because the character model is just kind of similar, but
that's a bit random. I don't know if it's going to be anything like Control, to be honest. But it's kind of just like sci-fi, like James Bond-esque vibes. So I think I think it'll be good. Yeah.
What
do you think of the new Joanna?
Oh.
Joanna.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because Joanna's been in 3 games so far, and she doesn't look the same in any of them. So I don't, and even on the Nintendo 64, on the box is so different to what she looks like in the game. So I've never really. It's just going to be some British woman, and I'm happy, and they've done
a ginger.
that. So yeah, she doesn't even have to. She was that in 360, but not in Nintendo 64. So yeah, I don't really care about the character enough to be upset that she has a wide jaw, but I don't know. I think she sounds good. She looks good. She looks like a spy. That's great to me. As long as she's got a bit of sass, which is what Joanna had in the old games. Sure, let's go for it.
What other? If we stick with you, James, what other announcements excited you?
No.
Do you want me to throw to one of the others while you have more of a thing?
No, I've got about 8 things. I'm just trying to kind of whittle them down. I guess one that's a bit weird for me, but then became good, was Dragon Age.
Oh.
So, I watched that, obviously, the reveal trailer with the David Bowie song and stuff, and I thought it was this really odd tone to it, and it didn't really feel like Dragon Age. But then, after the reveal, there was, I think there was a lot of damage control, because, a lot of just random people on Twitter started talking about the game and stuff, and even though they weren't, no demos were shown, it was a really odd situation, so I think there was some kind of guerrilla marketing at play there, but then to actually watch the 20-minute gameplay reveal, I think it looks really good, and I think it looks very different to the last few Dragon Ages. I think we've also talked about in the past how they can't just do Inquisition again, with the advent of The Witcher and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So to hear it's not full open world and it's kind of a more focused experience, but with really heavy and in-depth RPG mechanics, is really cool. I think that's a really, really nice angle for them. Obviously all the mouth breathers will be happy to hear there's apparently no paid DLC. You just go and get good equipment and upgrade your character. It's a very old school RPG in that way. And I think having that focus means the content can be good. All the quests can be good. It's not just an Inquisition where it was, which it still baffles me to think Inquisition won Game of the Year in its year that it released in, because so much of that game was MMO slop. Go find 10 crystals and do you know what I mean? It was just really there was just so much better, but we hadn't had
I can't believe they cooked that reveal so much, given it's this year. It's so close to launch. It wasn't just a random tease with nothing. It's
also
out
surprises
soon.
Me that's this year. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
it's been a long time. We haven't seen anything, so it was it could have slipped quite easily, but and it could still slip, I guess.
Yeah, I really encourage anyone who's worried or concerned that the original trailer didn't look that good. Go watch even just bits of that gameplay reveal, the proper 20-minute one. It looks miles ahead of what was shown.
I think the initial trailer that they kind of had, it was part of the Xbox showcase, wasn't it? Yeah. It just didn't. It just painted the game in the wrong light, I think. It was tonally sort of wrong. And I think by kind of featuring in on the characters the way they sort of did, I kind of get the importance of that for what they're doing this time around.
Concord reveal, where you have these characters.
Yeah.
And they
it's a hero shooter reveal, right?
Yeah. And then you were expecting to zoom out and be now it's a 5v5 shooter, and then except with swords or something. But yeah, I genuinely think that looks great, and it really excites me because I felt like BioWare was losing their way a little bit. And obviously I'm saying all of this because I just want Mass Effect to be good, so I'm hoping if this is good, Mass Effect will be even better. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, I'll come back to you for your third one. Shannon, what games excited you announcement-wise? We'll get to what you played in a mo.
Yeah, so I was over there with Xbox, and the way these things are sort of done now, the conference is all pre-recorded, but you're sitting in a room with, I guess, like other creators, execs, and stuff. But I think Gears, for a few reasons, really excited me. Like, the first is because it really didn't leak at all in terms of what it was, which is almost never happens in this industry for a big AAA franchise. So that was really cool, like how that revealed Dom and Marcus, and the pop that got in the room was really cool to see. And just seeing the tone of it and hearing, I got to sit in with the Coalition and hear them talk about it and talk about Unreal Engine 5 and like the darker horror tones that the game is going to have. Like, I think they're going to push it in a direction that makes the story a bit more meaningful, which I'm super keen to see. I didn't really play Gears 5. I played the original trilogy. Really used to like Gears on 360, so I'm super glad they're going back to that. And just, the sentiment around it, like so many comments on that video I posted saying that people are picking up an Xbox for it. And I just think the excitement that comes with particularly this era of Gears, like, is cool to see for Xbox, and I'm equally excited as well.
Does that ring true for you as well, Brody? I think you're a Gears fan, yeah?
Yeah, though before Shannon said it, that was going to be one of my three, but I'll pivot now. But yeah, I think the return to like those horror vibes is very exciting, and the fact that I think I read something on Twitter just before that Tom Warren says that it might be closer than we all think, and it could be like launching next year, which is pretty crazy. But I suppose it's been a while since Gears 5. But yeah, very keen for that, and the fact that it sort of puts us at a time like before the Lancer was even devised means we could get like some real weird take on Gears, which we haven't probably seen, but that they may have covered in books and stuff, but that you have not necessarily seen on console, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I appreciate that's a prequel as well, because like I've never played a Gears game. Like, I only really had an Xbox to play Halo, so I haven't really touched the Gears franchise at all. And yeah, like, this seems like a fair sort of entry point into the franchise. I think they've kind of been clever in the naming convention of the game too, and in sort of treating it that sort of way. So I'm excited to see how it kind of shapes up, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of like, a lot kind of rewarding long-term fans of the series as well. But it may well be my first Gears game, and I don't know. I kind of always thought like tonally Gears probably wasn't quite. It just seemed very like meatheady a shooter, which never really, I guess, spoke to me.
But they're like macho war heroes, so like I'm sure they'll still have that to an extent.
And like mechanically, like they were still really solid games. Probably like quite what's influential in the way that they implemented cover and stuff in games. Like there was not any games that did third person cover like that.
Did you three then feel like this was like kind of tonally a bit of a different trailer? Like they were trying to sort of achieve something different with the characters and the story, or not so much?
I think they're trying to paint it definitely, like I said, in that sort of horror tone. Like it's Marcus's like one of his first encounters with like a locust drone and stuff like that, and you can see that there's like fear in him, which you didn't see in like the original trilogy and stuff, because he is this grizzled meathead veteran.
And the setting just allows for a lot more stories, like considering it's a real world that's just a normal world. I feel like it'll be its Last of Us moment. I'm sure that'll
you've tickled my fancy there, Shannon. What words excite me.
I think that the trailer was like definitely very much calling back to the first game. Even the first game was inspired by RE4, and it was meant to be like a kind of more action heavy twist on that. So like to see that was really cool. And even just having the little like, and I've seen some people like kind of shit on this, having the little and it's like,
I like it.
No, I cried. I almost fucked up.
It's like I also am a bit like a little gross, but then I thought about it and I was like, there are people who played this game when they were 15, and that was literally 18 years ago. Like, I don't think there's any problem in weaponizing nostalgia like that.
And that was a great trailer, like from
I agree. And like, there's a reason why that trailer is like so revered and stuff. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing at all to play into that.
We all know how we feel about this, but anyway.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I just think like in a world where we want fucking Marvel and Star Wars to do it every week with a Disney Plus series, like why is it a problem that Gears is doing it like 18 years on? Like, I just find that a bit
Let us
strange
have
to
our
complain
nostalgia
about.
debate and fuck off.
Yeah, like I'm not even too nostalgic for. I'm nostalgic for that time, but not so much for the game.
I think Xbox need more of that. Like I think we've said that they just don't announce.
They're sitting on
enough of
so
their
many
games
brands,
well.
like so many brands from so long ago, from their heyday. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. So,
It's a good thing.
And
Anyway,
it sounds like they're quite smart. Sorry, I'm still on Gears of War. Like kind of moving away from the trilogy that they were like part of the way through, and doing a prequel instead, right? Like even that
They will
seems like
return
let's
to
just
it.
double down on.
I
we know
did,
people
yeah.
love.
I did
makes
grill
sense.
them on that, and because, like you said, you've never played Gears, right? And there's so many mainline entries. There's what's the RTS game?
Tactics.
It's Tactics. There's been side stories. There's books. There's everything. So yeah, Judgment. I did ask them like whether this was them going back for, I guess, people that hadn't played Gears, and they said no. Like this is just the story they wanted to make. So, which I believe, but I definitely think part of it is going back to Gears of War.
It's also a story that like. My audio cut out, so if you've already said this, I apologize. But it's also a story that people have always been asking for, like since Gears 2. So like to actually have that,
it's
like,
interesting.
come to fruition, is pretty cool.
Sorry, Shannon, what was your second?
Yeah, I could say Astro and Lego Horizon, but I won't. The other one that caught my eye just going through this was Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Reader's Return. Is that the name of it?
Rewind.
Readers. Yeah, same. Big Power Rangers fan back in the day. There were some banger games. This looks to be identical to the TMNT game that I enjoyed. I think it's the same developer, right? So, got a good pop. Again, nostalgia will always get me at these types of things. So I was super excited for it, and it was unexpected. I didn't know I needed more Power Rangers, but here we are.
Yeah. I watched a lot of Power Rangers as a kid, but I can't say it was like quite something I was nostalgic for. But power to everyone that
It's a really good fit. Like,
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like thinking back to comparing it to like TMNT, which is obviously what this is.
Yeah,
There were beat 'em up games like this, right? That in the Power.
On the,
Yeah.
on the SNES, I had one. It was really good.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, Brody.
Yeah.
What's
Very
Shannon
smart.
left you? What announcements?
Yeah, I feel like he's sniped
And
two
the
of my
last-
games right there. But yeah, go on, take my last one, please. I guess the first one I'll say then is it's very much Brody bait, but mixtape. Really good to me. I was a big fan of the Artful Escape, and this looks like it's going to hit on all those same vibes. Like great soundtrack, even if it is just moving from right to left, but getting all emotional about the story. Like I'm all for that. I don't care. So yeah, that would be one, and to power right along. The other one that looked good to me, and I think it just looks better every time we see it. I think Fable. The fact that that's got a date next, well, not a date, a broad year of next year. I think that's exciting. Whether they hit it or not, I don't care. And I just love that they're building out this cast with just like all of the funniest people in Britain. So I'm excited for the, like I said, if they don't do Matt Berry in this game, I'm going to be shattered. But like the fact that Matt King's in it, he's very funny. I'm a big Peep Show fan, so to have him involved is good. And I can't believe that some of the stuff we see in that trailer like is gameplay. Like the game looks phenomenal. Like Playground Masters at the minute. So yeah, that would be my two that I'll lead off with.
Yeah, Fable was one that kind of popped in the group chat. Another Xbox game that I don't really have like any history with, but I have friends that like obsessed with Fable 2 mostly back in the day. And yeah, I like dead keen for this one. So I think we're going to kind of assemble a bit of a group in playing this one. But yeah, I think it's nice for like a fantasy game that kind of has the tone that it does, right? And to your point, Brody, like it was a really fun trailer. James'
I think the
Fable
tone
one
is
that's
perfect, which was like maybe a bit of a concern. But yeah, I think going back to playing the Fable games now, they don't age that well. But I think the old games, I don't know if people remember, but like they had like Ben Kingsley, Stephen Fry, John Cleese. Like it was like it had all of that kind of comedic vibe to it. So to see like they've kind of got like a new gen of that happening is really cool.
I was going to ask, like, is it worth going back and like revisiting a game and get a taste for it? But
do you reckon? I don't know.
It'll be fine.
I played them like 2-3 years ago, begrudgingly, and like they're a little bit clunky now.
Why do it then? If you didn't
Because
want to?
I do everything for my friends. If they want to play something with me, I'm there.
Right.
But yeah, like I think it's Yeah, I try them. Just try them. Don't you have Game Pass? Just they're on there.
I do.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Just download them. You have nothing to lose besides time.
Yeah.
And who needs that?
Well, some of the ones I wanted to shout out, maybe you've all been very kind to, because I realized I just put them in the show notes, so maybe you've all dodged them for that reason. But the the Blumhouse announcement really excited me. I thought that's just like the perfect way for like them to kind of enter into the games industry, kind of doing very much like what they've done with their horror movies, just kind of doing reasonably sort of budget stuff to an extent, and like not doing anything like insanely over the top, but doing something quirky and unique and finding an audience from there. And I think that model's likely to be really successful for them. And the projects that they announced all look really quite unique and quite quirky. And I've got them in my wish list here, but I think like the first one was due out just in a couple of months' time. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, really cool. And then the other 3 they showed off, Project C being the other one as well. Brody, I'm sure that will excite you with Sam Barlow attached. Yeah. September, Fear the Spotlight's out. So yeah, keen that's kicking off so soon. And then the second for me was Doom: The Dark Ages. Like, big Doom fan. I love that they're doing something really quite different with the next one, taking it back again in sort of a prequel sort of setting, leaning into this medieval sort of styling, the kind of Captain America shield with the blades popping out the side of it. Looks like a really cool new mechanic to add in.
Into bullets.
Yeah, it's just like unashamedly Doom, but with this extra layer applied to it. The massive like mech suit sort of thing as well. It looks sick. I'm gonna play the hell out of that game when it comes out. Really excited for that. James, did you have a final one you wanted to shout out?
I was gonna say Doom, but
what about Metal Gear Solid? Where did you fall on that?
Oh yeah.
I don't know about that. Like, it's it kind of annoys me that they afterwards, again in the interviews and stuff, they were like, "There's like we have this visual filter that makes it look like the old game," and I'm like,
no shit filter.
Show me that. Filter. Like, I've always said about this game. Every time we see it, it kind of doesn't have that hazy.
Yeah, the hue doesn't look right.
Like, it doesn't look humid enough. Like, that's the whole point. But yeah, I think that game does look good. Like, you can't say it doesn't, right? Like, technically, on a technical level, it is amazing looking. And there are people who play like a PS2 game, like Ewan's age, and they're just like, "Oh, this is gross." But like, so that's what this game is for, kind of. I get that, but it does feel like the fact that it's 1-to-1 does feel a little bit unnecessary to me. That being said, while we're talking about games that visually look like really good, the opposite end of that is sorry, I stopped. My brain stopped. There was a gap. Slitterhead is like obviously one that's very like close to me because it's from the person who created like Silent Hill, which I'm wearing today, and the Gravity Rush, which I also loved, and Siren, which I also loved. So like seeing their new game is really interesting. It looks really wacky. I just think it looks a little bit. It looked super rough.
It did. Like frames were dropping.
Yeah. So I kind of have to maybe reel in my expectations a little bit. I thought this would be a little bit higher budget. But I think conceptually it will be really fucking cool. Like, it's like almost like a Space Station Silicon Valley, but like you change bodies instead of animals. So I don't know. I think it'll be really cool. Really different kind of game. And also surprised to discover it's this year, but happily surprised. So
yeah, one I'm keeping my eye on as well. Shannon, final mention from you?
I had Killer Bean written down here, and I thought of something different since that, but now I can't remember. Yeah, Killer Bean was like the funny moment from that Summer Game Fest showcase. Yeah. I'm also really keen for Shadows, which I think we'll talk about in a bit. But the showing of that, particularly at the Ubisoft conference, not so much at Xbox, has me excited for what they're doing with that. So yeah, Killer Bean for its trailer, Shadows for like what I want to play.
Yeah, I can't say I had like any real knowledge about Killer Bean and like his storied history on the internet. So I was just kind of watching that trailer going, what the hell is going on? Is it a potato? Is it a testicle? Like, what is this character?
I thought it was a knob.
Love them both. I was either way.
Brody, what about yourself?
As in, where do I fall down on Killer Bean, or what's my...
What's your final shout out before we move on?
I'll probably say South of Midnight.
Nice. Yeah.
A very good looking game. Obviously, the first time I think, we've seen it in action gameplay wise. I kind of didn't expect the stop motion stuff to sort of carry over into the gameplay, and it looked really striking, obviously. Not the game I expected it was going to be at all. Like, I didn't expect it to, lean action like that. But it almost looks like it could be like Xbox's, not God of War, but something God of War adjacent, like where they tackle that sort of, southern mythology, which could be really cool. Like, I love the imagery of like the big gator and the big catfish coming out of the water and stuff like that. It's just all super quirky and weird, and I think it's going to be a very big vibe, that game. So that was one that stuck out.
Yeah, that was one that resonated with me as well. I just loved the art style of it, the vibe of it. Obviously the gameplay very much on my street too. So
like,
yeah,
that game was bog. Anyway, with all due respect to them,
fingers crossed the old pans out.
What?
I said that game was bog. It was crap.
Which game though?
We
Which
have
of those
you.
good? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Contrast was alright, but not we. Yeah, blame Gearbox.
All right, well, let's talk about what you did get the chance to play, and it was a fair few, so I'll just kind of be steered by you guys and how you want to talk about this. Shannon, what did you get to play? What are you most excited to talk about?
As I mentioned, I was there with Xbox, so not a lot of hands-on stuff, more just, I guess, BCDs for context. But on the PlayStation side, I got to play Astro Bot, which I knew going into it wasn't going to be hugely different in terms of what it was. But yeah, it
relative to Playroom, you mean?
Yeah, just the core base of what it is. I got to play 3 levels, 2 levels, a boss battle, and 2 challenge levels. But yeah, the amount of power-ups in the levels and the creativity, just even not power-ups, just things you were doing within the levels, and the challenge levels, which were based on the PlayStation symbols, really gave me hope that whilst it does feel like Astro's Playroom, like a continuation of that, I think there's going to be a lot there in the way of power-ups and things that they've done that make it feel like a $90, $100 game. Super fantastic. Each level has its own set of PlayStation characters from a franchise. So one of the levels were Ratchet characters. The next was Parappa the Rapper. And the boss battle ended with Kratos and Atreus sort of saving the day, and then them having their own little level on the map, which to me leads me to believe that they're going to play a bigger part in the story, and maybe you'll get to play as them in this Astro form or something of that ilk. So yeah, I'm really keen for it. There's so much commentary online about it should be free and things like that. I get how it's a big jump, and I did ask them about that. But they just want to make the best game that they can, was their response. And you can see that, the amount of stuff they're throwing into this from what I've seen already. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I think you can work on the assumption that it's going to just be Playroom, but we're charging for it this time. It looks to me that this is going to be a much bigger, fleshed out experience. And so, yeah, why would you not then pay the full sticker price for that? And obviously right up my street. I'm excited for it.
I've gone back to Playroom, and it does feel tech demo-y, in the way that there's 4 different things that you do. And within the 3 to 5 levels that I played of this, there was already more mechanics and power-ups and differences than Playroom. So yeah, I'm keen for it. And I think it's going to be a great game, but I don't think that'll be a surprise to anyone on this call.
Yeah. All right, maybe I just alternate between the two of you. Brody, what was something you played that you're excited to talk about?
I got to play, while you were talking about it, I was going to mention, but I got to play about 20 minutes of Fear the Spotlight.
Cool.
Which, really cool. I think it'll be very much up James's street. It's basically classic Resident Evil, but there's no combat in the game, so it's all like the puzzle elements and okay, maybe not up changes straight.
No, I don't know.
I wasn't sure if that was an excited smile or not.
It definitely strikes that sort of tone and atmosphere that I think James will drink up. I think it's very good in that way. And it's all set with
lick it up.
Yeah, he's gonna slurp it up. It's all. it's all
I'm
set.
very. I'm classic.
It's
I'm
all set
very
within
well
a
known
high
for how-
school. There's Ouija boards involved. But interestingly, apparently the game has already been out for about a year. This
Yeah,
is
it has.
Yeah, this is like a redone version for consoles. And
What?
yeah, it's already out on Steam. But there's a newer version. And that's what's coming out in September. But anyway. Yeah, it's made by 2 people, which is pretty impressive. Like, it's all very... it just feels really classic. It hits that sort of Crow Country, old PS1 sort of art style, which is cool. And yeah, there are some generally like unsettling moments. Like you use the Ouija board and you've got to light these candles, and then they get hushed out by like a disturbance in the library, and then you relight them to see that your friend is gone. Where are they? And then it's walking through the library to try and find them, and then it gets all spooky from there. So that one was pretty cool. Like I wrote a little bit because it was only a 20-minute demo, so I couldn't really stretch that out into a preview. So I sort of wrote generally about the Blumhouse situation while touching on that.
Right.
I think the whole Blumhouse situation is really good. I think. And like even when he came on stage at the SGF thing, like he was genuinely excited about the whole thing. Like I think it couldn't be in better hands to like sort of, I guess, give indies that opportunity to explore horror in video games, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff they can do and have been doing for ages. So, yeah.
Nice. Shannon, you got another?
The next one I played was Lego Horizon, which was announced at Summer Game Fest. It's cool. So it retells the story of the first game. It is very much the Lego game you would expect, but what surprised me was that it does have Lego characters and some other franchises. So Ninjago, Lego City, to name a few. Like it's very much a Horizon game in the sense that you get focus and you can take off components and things like that. But then it has a lot of like Lego humor and different things that make it, I guess, feel Lego as much as it is Horizon. The original actors are all returning, so I think they're doing some cool stuff with this story. It's coming to Switch, which again wasn't rumored at all, and I think surprised everyone, so that's super cool. I don't know if they've released a price. It's a hard one because like it is a family friendly game, but I can see why PlayStation would want to expose.
It's like the only brand that would fit, I think.
Yeah.
Besides I guess Ratchet, but yeah.
Ratchet, I was gonna say. Yeah, I think it's a smart move. I'm assuming Lego games all do well. So I think it will do well for people wanting to play with their kids. And Horizon's a big seller, so it makes sense. It's not going to be for everyone. Like it's probably not the holiday lineup a lot of PlayStation fans were hoping for, but it seems solid. And I'm keen to give it a go. It's got line co-op.
Do you think
well.
it should be on PS4, given that it's on Switch? I've seen that.
Yeah, hadn't thought of that. Yeah, probably. It would make sense to me. Yeah. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's not.
Yeah.
I wonder why that decision was made.
Yeah, I don't know.
I sort of feel like it could happen in time. Like maybe it's just.
Oh no! If it's in time, don't bother. Like it's now or never. I feel. PS4 games.
Or maybe that was her rationale. It's like people that have a PS4, let's try and get them.
It's not the
PS5.
normal Lego team, is it? Like it's
I guess maybe they think that the people that are going to buy it that are PlayStation fans are like people that have a PS5 and like they really want to play it with their kids and like expose them to that game. So I don't know, maybe they didn't think it was worth it, but it is odd now that you mention it.
I think it's fascinating how they're trying to kind of extend the Horizon IP. In my mind, it doesn't feel like the strongest IP for them to extend. Like I would kind of feel like, an Uncharted would fare better, or God of War. Like The Last of Us, obviously they're already doing plenty with in a TV space, and I guess God of War they're about to do that too soon.
And Horizon.
Yeah, and Horizon. But to James, your point, like I guess Horizon is the most
it's a
family friendly of the bunch.
And I think
sort of adapt.
Zero Dawn was like the best seller that, apart from Spider-Man, right? Like it sold really, really, really well for whatever reason. Yeah, so it obviously has a bit of synergy there. Whether that will wear off, I don't know. Yeah, I was more just I did interview them, and I was eager to understand how it sort of came about, in the sense like, did PlayStation really want this? Did Guerrilla, did Lego, and didn't really get much of a response. But yeah, I'd love to know how it came about, and hopefully we'll find that out in time.
Did you like, based on what you played, do you think it like is something fans of the Horizon games, like adult fans of it, would get something out of, or is it really like, if you're a Horizon fan and you've got kids, then get the game, but otherwise?
No, I think in the same way that like Star Wars fans or Harry Potter fans would play the Lego games, like it's going to be a 7 to 10 hour experience.
Okay.
It was fun. Like I enjoyed it. It got quite difficult when I got to the Corruptor, which was the boss. So again, it'll come down to price. Like, do I think it'll be worth $100? No. Like, if it's on PS Plus or like it's $50, like I can see it being a fun weekend for a lot of people with mates.
Yeah, cool. I will say,
I think it's worth mentioning just quickly as well. It has online. Lego games haven't had that since like the complete saga on 360, like Star Wars. Like it's a weird gap that I've always felt kind of should be filled, and it is being done with that. So
I did really like what they did with the Lego stuff in Fortnite as well. I don't know if you guys gave that a bit of a go. It was like a pretty kind of, you know, by the numbers survival sort of experience, but it was good fun.
There's also like there is quite a deep system in leveling up your character, and like there's different characters with different abilities. I don't know if Lego games have had leveling up and stuff like that. Again, it's been a while, and
I think Star Wars maybe. I didn't play the last one. I think that one was a bit more involved, but they're different teams anyway, so I wouldn't.
And customizing your hub and things like that. So there was a little bit of depth there.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah,
see what happens with it, but it felt fine.
All right, Brody, what's next?
Like part of me wants to sort of touch on like Neva or Replaced or something like that, because they're both my jam, but I should probably talk about Star Wars Outlaws. That obviously was probably the big game that we managed to play while we were there. Look, I came away from it like pretty excited for the full game. What we played was 3 levels that sort of showed off, I guess, different parts of the game. Like one mission was called The Wreck, where you explore like a High Republic cruiser that's been sort of derelict for a while to try and get a nav drive or something like that, and it's very exploratory. Like it's very Uncharted platformy sort of thing. Like, you know, you'll be walking along a walkway, it'll break, you'll slide down it, then you got to jump and do the next rappel and all that sort of stuff. It's that kind of thing. Very pretty looking game. Like I feel like those quieter levels, out of context, it felt a bit weird in like the demo setting, but I think like in the middle of a game when you're trying to like, you know, crack the egg and get, you know, further into the story, I think that's it'll be good. Another one we played was The Relic, which was basically you're sneaking into a stronghold to try and steal a relic, obviously for a faction somewhere. And obviously you could play it a couple of ways, but I tried to go the stealth route and sort of use Nyx's abilities and stuff like that. And I think like that was pretty fun. Like I'm not usually the one that takes a stealth approach, but I was sort of playing with it to see what you can do. And yeah, I feel like he's going to be a really cool little companion character throughout. And then the last one was False Flag, I think it was called, where basically you steal your ship back out of like a Imperial cruiser or something like that, and then do a little dogfight out in space and then land on a planet to go, you know, turn the quest in or whatever. So what we saw, like, it gave a very wide net of what the game is going to offer. Obviously curated and quite linear. Like, we didn't really get to explore any open world stuff, which was a little disappointing. But in terms of what I played, like, I came away, like I said, pretty impressed. Like, the dogfighting I didn't love too much, but in terms of the general combat, I thought it was great. Like, it's no surprise that, like, I feel like the Division was pretty tight control-wise, and I feel like this hits that sort of mark as well, although you've only got, like, the one weapon that's with you at all times, being the blaster. Obviously, you can pick other, like, discarded guns up in the field during each battle, so you've got, like, stormtrooper guns that you can use and stuff like that, and then you'd throw them away. But I thought the combat was good. And Shannon, you seem like you want to say something.
Yeah, that is probably what. Again, this was like a real small slices. I think it was 15-minute demos. There were 3 of them. Like there was no open world stuff or like a general sense of going from mission to mission. But for me, like if you were just to use the blaster for the whole 30 hours, like I don't know if that's gonna, keep me invested. I think especially with Survivor that had like 4 different.
I saw it kind of like Control. Like how you use that same gun throughout the whole thing, but it's got different modules, and like that is the case here.
But even the 2 that we got to use didn't feel all that different to me, to be honest. And then the gunners you pick up from the Stormtrooper didn't feel that different. So I don't know. There would be more to it, I think, but without having Force abilities and different lightsabers, and even Cole had a blaster. I'm keen to see. I don't want to say I'm not keen for it because I don't know what's there, but I am keen to see how they do change it up across the entire game.
And I'm sort of hesitant to say that it's not going to be like this because, like Shannon said, we didn't really get a sense of what the minute to minute is outside of these levels, but it didn't give me the sense of like a traditional, Ubisoft open world or anything like that. It felt a bit more, I don't know, realised, and everything sort of flows together a bit more. It doesn't seem like it's going to be like that checkboxy sort of game.
Apparently, it is quite small. Like not small. Sorry, it's like more like
linear path.
It's closer to like
focus.
Mirage. I think closer to Mirage or something than say like Valhalla.
Oh well, that's good. You'd rather that.
Is it still is it still open world in that same sense? Okay,
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, I can't.
We didn't
confirm 'cause I
get to experience
play
that.
any of it, but
Yeah.
I mean, the guy I spoke to, like the creative director Julian, he did say that if you used a cheat code in the build we were playing, that you could unlock the open world. Not that I don't even know if I'm meant to say that, but anyway, it was there.
There's a speeder in the game as well. Like so, assumedly you're going to be out in the open.
I mean, I suppose
just riding
Survivor was kind of an open world in a sense, like more kind of like hub worldy sort of thing. But
yeah,
did you just throw shade at Sway, James? What was that?
And from what I could tell, like you go in a spaceship and then you fly to a different planet, you land on it. So like I think when it's open world, like that's what it kind of means. I think it'll be obviously planets like Survivor, but like that if that works, I think it'll feel quite good.
Yeah.
As a Star Wars game, and it felt polished to me.
If this is just like a Tomb Raider-esque game, like a Crystal Dynamics like Tomb Raider-esque game, like I would be all about this.
Yeah, and I think it will lean more towards something like that. It's going to be very story focused. Like you are doing heists and stuff like that, and you're a scoundrel, all that sort of stuff. I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And,
I do hear Shannon's concern around like.
No, I was
gameplay.
just thinking because like Survivor's whole thing was like throwing big enemies and bosses at you, and even with that, with the blaster, I can't really picture how there's gonna be those kind of big boss battles when you've just got a blaster. But
quick time events.
Keen to see.
Like
I don't think that doesn't have to have bosses though.
No,
like you can just have these like epic heists.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know, you were just kind of shooting stormtroopers with 2 shots over and over again from a distance and taking them out. So there's gonna have to be more than that.
I mean, like
I think
that's GTA, right? Like when you're doing story missions in GTA, like
you can also use your Deadeye ability, which is really cool. Don't worry about that.
You can.
I hear you. Like it's been my concern. It's like, what is this kind of like without lightsabers and the Force?
Yeah,
I'm really like pleased that this game is doing that differently.
Yeah, because
but
she
it
had
still needs to
no
switch up
abilities.
mechanics enough to like
From what we saw.
now.
Like there was nothing. Like I don't know. Yeah,
Maybe they'll be like just like this like Jabba the Hutt boss battle.
Or you'll transform into Jabba the Hutt and just stomp people.
Hit them with your toe.
No, I don't know. I'm keen for it still, but I'm just keen to see what else they have to show.
Like what the whole structure is, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm conscious that we're starting to go long. You've probably got a few previews you still want to touch on, but I want to make sure we get to Assassin's Creed Shadows, seeing as that's kind of one of the games I think people have come away from the Summer Game Fest period like most excited about. Did you both get a chance to play that?
No, there was hands off. So
we didn't play it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Basically, what you saw at the Ubisoft Forward, that little 10-minute slice of him riding in and then playing her invading the castle, it showed us basically 2 variations of that. One where he can go in and then her going in again a different way. And it sort of just highlighted their differences in play style. Like I said, like she's obviously, as you saw, very stealthy, works in the shadows, and he's just like a raging bull that just like tears through this castle and leaves no one standing, basically. So,
and he can't climb buildings and stuff,
Yeah.
which is totally different to anything else in the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Like I kept saying, I felt like it validated my playstyle that I usually go for, where I can't really play stealth and I just sort of just go loud all the time. So I feel like I've been seen in that regard, and I'll probably be a Yasuke main. So yeah, so no, we didn't get to go hands-on, unfortunately, but yeah, got a good look at sort of the variations. And I think one of the cool things that I took away was like the seasons and like how that can sort of affect the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like I sort of originally thought that it would be like tied to story beats and stuff like that, and it would just change like it will for you or like all of us, but apparently it just rolls by like the day-night cycle, and it does just just happen naturally. So
really?
Yeah, so a mission that you do
How
in
quickly
summer,
are these?
well, I don't know.
Yeah.
He said they're still tweaking it, but like a mission you do in summer, like I might get distracted with side quests and then come back to that mission and do it in winter, and I won't have the same options available to me. Like the grass could be dead, so I can't hide in it, or a pond could be frozen over and I can't swim in it and get to the target and stuff. So it's very cool in that sense. I think that's a cool little feature that they've got on their hands there. But yeah, I think it's probably the most. I'm not going to say the most excited I've been for Assassin's Creed in a while, because I was excited for Valhalla at one point. But yeah, I mean, in a year, this is the most excited I've been for an Assassin's Creed game for sure.
I thought it looked really good. Brody and I sort of had differing opinions on this, but I thought it looked phenomenal with just how much was there. All the foliage and stuff was really dense. It looked as good as Ghost of Tsushima, if not better for me. Yeah, especially with the different weather stuff we saw. You didn't think it looked good, James?
I don't know if it's
like literally the first thing I saw in our presentation was like pop in and all that sort of stuff. I was just like,
yeah, but it's early.
It's
It's a preview.
I know, but I had to Google it.
Come on, Brody.
I don't know that the character.
on.
I don't know that the character models look that much better than Mirage. Like, and that's what I
No,
was
they
getting.
do. They definitely do.
I don't know.
I feel like they've actually. I don't know if they used to manually animate or what. There's some kind of upgrade to their animation tech for their face.
I had to
faces.
Google it because I wasn't sure that it wasn't still on last generation. That's where I'm at. I
Yeah.
didn't think it looked that good.
Interesting.
He thought it was on
Yeah.
Wii U,
Yeah.
running on Wii U
Who
Live.
knows?
I thought I can't believe
Anything's
this is on
possible.
Wii
The
U.
direct, the Nintendo Direct hasn't happened yet. We never know.
No, but look,
I
it
thought-
looks
yeah.
good. I just don't like the art direction is good, but I just don't think the fidelity and stuff was where I thought it was going to be. Being like the first only next gen Assassin's Creed.
I do feel like a lot of the improvements are being reflected in the gameplay, though, more so than the graphics.
and I don't just
don't you?
I don't disagree with
I
that.
didn't
Like, I feel
fall off my chair. I just thought it looked good.
No,
With how much was happening on screen in an open world.
I never implied as such. I'm just saying. Yeah. I don't think I've ever fallen off my chair in my life, but yeah, I don't know. I think it does look way better. You can tell it's like I thought you could tell, but
Like I think more improved. I guess it's mainly just the honestly, it's the character models I'm hung up on. I don't think they're that good, but I definitely see
Look,
improvement.
he said
look
it looked shit. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it.
I definitely,
Just to their face.
I definitely see improvements in things like the dynamic lighting and stuff like that. I think all that looks really good, and how they sort of play with that. So I don't know. I don't know. I think it looks good. I just don't think it looks good visually that much. So moving on.
Regardless of how
Yeah,
it looks,
okay.
I'm really excited for the game. Like,
We're allowed
I think
to
the
be.
more I've seen of it, and like the more they've kind of explained about these characters and how they play differently, that's got me more interested in it. And I think feel like it's gonna do something kind of unique with the genre that we sort of haven't seen in others, which is what I
Just
felt like I really
Mirage
needed
looks
to see.
better, Brody.
Oh
saying
my
that.
god! Come on,
I'm not saying it looks better. I'm just saying
Oh,
I don't think it
okay.
looks
I'm just
markedly improved. Like, hey, this
Okay.
is next gen. That's what I'm saying.
okay.
Just quickly, I know we are going long. I wanted to shout out Age of Mythology Retold as well, which
Yeah, no worries.
I did used to play Age of Empires back in the day, but it had been a while since I'd played a real-time strategy game. And walking into this tiny room with two devs from this watching me and a 15-minute demo time, I was definitely shitting myself on no sleep as well. But I enjoyed it. I didn't know a lot about Age of Mythology, but it's cool that you are playing as a god with powers, and I can see that appealing to a lot of people. It's cool that it's on an Xbox Day One as well. I think it's a first for the Age franchise. So
Wait, is it on console?
Yeah, day one.
Really?
Xbox Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, I'm keen for it. It looked gorgeous.
I haven't played one in
Does
so
Brody
long.
think it looked good?
I didn't get to see it, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
I played so much of Age of Empires 3 back in the day. I was obsessed with that game, and I haven't I don't know if I've touched one of them since.
Mythology's cool. It's like a little bit more like out there.
Yeah.
Just, like wreck shit with lightning bolts.
Yeah, I do like that element to it.
Yeah.
When is it out again? Remind me, Shannon.
September.
Yeah.
So real soon again. Okay, cool. Already, I made the effort of trying to put dates into my my calendar, like when games are coming out that I want to play, and I was amazed how much it kind of filled out.
Keen for it.
Cool. Let's review our predictions, shall we, and see how we
I can
did.
see why you want to do this, because I feel like you've done the best out of a lot of us.
No, far from it. I think there's a clear winner here, and it's
remember
not
what
me.
I said.
Brody, let's start with yours then, shall we?
Corey Barlog was not there, I can tell you that for free.
Yeah, your predictions for Corey Barlog would reveal his new IP.
He didn't.
That didn't happen. Square will announce something coming to Xbox.
They
wow.
didn't, I don't think.
Well,
No, they didn't.
I think they are publishing Life is Strange. So
That's
do
a tick.
we...
That's a tick for Gibby.
I feel like you meant Japan.
That is not
You
what
did
he
say,
meant,
yeah,
I did
Xbox
mean
announced
Japan.
Final Fantasy VII is coming to platforms, something like
I
that.
meant Japan.
Yeah,
Let's
it
move
was
on.
like...
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not
If you combine that with that RPG, that Expedition 33, I mean, you could almost call that.
It's got nothing to do with Square Enix. Like, what do you mean?
It's an RPG, though.
It's made by fans of Final Fantasy.
That's
but
right.
That's
So
it.
it's a half a point. Half a
That
point.
also looks amazing. I feel like that deserves a shout
Yeah,
out.
half a point there for me.
quickly.
Well done.
What?
I
What?
don't think so.
Did you think that looked good?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
good.
it looked unique, quite dynamic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the main character was Robert Pattinson, but apparently it's not.
Maybe it is.
Ben Starr.
Your final prediction was
the
Assassin's
new
Creed
Tribeca.
will have a big presence and feature in X Defiant.
So Assassin's Creed and X Defiant both featured in the Ubisoft Forward, so that's a half a point.
No. The prediction was like an overlap.
That's a
Although
half
I
point.
do want to issue you somewhat of an apology
But
because
it's also rumored. And it's
it
coming.
is rumored, but nothing was announced.
I'm going to take
but-
a half point for that.
I
I'm up to one.
like choose your head off for saying that rabbits would appear in the game somewhat, and it is rumored, but there are like rabbits kind of when you die you can like share an emoji to the person that killed you and like celebrate it, and there are rabbits emojis in there, so I want to issue
I never
you
said
an
anything about
apology.
rabbits. That was someone else, I think. But
Yeah, that was
I was
me.
Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed.
Oh, was
fan,
it? Okay.
So. But I'll
Ewan is like
I'll
the
take any-
king of misattributing quotes.
I'll take any
like,
I'll take any kudos you want to throw my way, though, please.
I don't think you fared much better with your bonus predictions. Double Fine didn't have anything new.
No, they weren't there.
There wasn't
They
a
were the only
refreshed
ones that
Xbox
didn't.
controller. New trailer from Routine. What did have I miswritten that?
No.
What did you?
No, that's right. There was a
But,
game
yeah.
called Routine that was coming out at one point, but that hasn't been seen for a while.
Routinely missing.
Yeah. So I think that's 0 points for Brody.
Hang on. I thought there was one that I did okay. No,
No.
I didn't. two half points makes 1 point. I understand. Okay.
Shannon, PlayStation will bring back a game lost on the PS3, i.e. Resistance, Infamous, or something like that.
Look, Daxter is back. Daxter is back this week.
No.
where? Oh,
That's-
no.
That does not
That doesn't
fucking
count.
count. Move on.
Yeah,
He's
it's
back. He's
ridiculous.
back.
I mean,
Oh my God.
lots of PlayStation characters appearing in Astro Bot. No.
Shut
okay.
up. That is not what's happening.
300 points by my calculation.
Do not try and force
At
this.
least 3 games confirmed for PlayStation on the Xbox front. You put forward Starfield, Doom, and
0.
COD.
0.
Doom and COD.
No, yeah. Well, you can't count COD. That was
yeah.
always going to be
Indiana
PlayStation.
Jones is still rumored, so that
No,
one's up
COD
in
was
the air, I think.
announced before the
Yeah,
prediction
that's right. COD was announced
Yeah.
on PlayStation before this, but anyway.
Okay.
So that's-
Anything's
the
possible.
consensus is no there again, I
Yeah,
think.
sorry.
And first Nintendo Switch 2 will be revealed in June Direct, and it'll be a Super Mario Odyssey 2. That one still hangs in the balance, I suppose, because we're yet to have the Direct. I think the rumor was next week at this stage. So
Okay, right. But if it doesn't happen in June, then no points.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fair. Your bonus was
happening in June.
Everwild, State of Decay 3, and Fable won't be mentioned.
Didn't get it.
and
That's a third of a point.
That's Did we award a third of a point?
Stop
there?
splitting points.
Right.
You know what? I'll note you down for a third of a point. You're welcome to it. Okay. Well, I'm going to save the best for last, James. So
If I win on that third of a point,
I'll go mine next. Wolverine will get a new trailer. No, very little PlayStation presence here. Kojima will tease a little more about Odi. None of that happened. Ghost of Tsushima 2 will be out. No, didn't happen. Bonus, a new game from Double Fine. No. And a new trailer from Everwild. No. Big fat 0 for you.
I feel for you because I think when there is a PlayStation showcase, I think you'll have a lot more luck.
Yeah,
on that front in the next month or so.
Want to play any part in this. Anyhow, 0 for me. James, Capcom re-reveal Pragmata. Didn't happen.
No.
Perfect Dark will be shown.
Yay.
It's in good health and reinvigorate Prestart's passion.
Well...
So here's where we
His passion wasn't even reinvigorated, so that's a no.
I for one, I had guess I was on I'm
mildly interested in the game, so I'm gonna say that's a point. I'll pay that.
Yeah. I think James has got a point.
Thank you.
There.
It's a safe
Nintendo
bet,
will
I
reveal
feel.
one final great
my
game for
God,
the Switch,
fuck
and
off.
it'll have something to do with monkeys and banana. I guess that's still
We
to
don't
be
know yet.
revealed. Yeah.
Bananas will stay peeled for now.
See you next week.
Yeah.
And then you had some
Tomorrow.
bonus guesses around Siphon Filter, Ari, and Tears of the Kingdom, and nothing.
God, we expected a lot from this weekend, didn't we?
Yeah,
we
so pretty bleak state of affairs in
alright.
our predictions. But James, I guess, in the lead presently with 1 point.
My finger is on the pulse.
But
right.
if,
Don't know
if
anyone
Shannon
else
gets
is-
a point from Nintendo and James doesn't, he might clinch it with that third of a point that we've awarded today. Who knows?
He can stay clinched. As far as
I
I'm concerned.
will.
Quick rapid fire question before we go into what the wiki. Which PlayStation cameo are you most excited to see in Astro Bot?
Don't know what's in there, but I'll say I'm going to assume Jack and Daxter's going to be in there, so I'm going to say that.
Shannon?
He was. I rescued him.
Oh.
Which one?
Jack. They teased a lot of third-party stuff, so I'm trying to think
Yeah,
what third-party
mine's-
franchise.
Mine's third party.
Leon Kennedy.
Yeah. Well, Chris is in the last game. So
Look, I'll just say Crash, even though I think he was in Playroom. But I don't know.
Resident Evil.
I just want to see how
Will they have to pay
deep
Xbox for
the
Crash?
cuts go. Like, are we going to see Sully from Uncharted or like Zeke from Infamous?
Definitely.
Or
Maybe Sully from Monsters Inc.
Sully, everyone's favourite.
That's what I thought you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, have I got his name wrong? I'm so confused. I just want to see a mustache Astro Bot. All right, what the wiki is the Press Starts podcast game show where the previous week's winner reads part of a Wikipedia page from an unknown game, and we, the contestants, must guess the game. A point is awarded for each correct guess, and the round ends after a person has bagged themselves 2 points. Presently in the lead, we have James on 20. I am in second on 15. Shannon and Brody are tied in third on 13 points. Kieran's in fourth with 10 points, and Harry bringing up the rear with 5 points. I think I won the last episode, so I'm prepped to host today. And I'm doing things slightly differently.
Oh, good. There's going to be another
Rather
guess the
than
fucking device thing.
Wikipedia entries, I have turned to Steam descriptions.
What the steamy?
What the steamy? Yeah, exactly. All right.
Looks steamy.
Game number 1. Carve through hordes of enemies on vast battlefields, by yourself or with friends. Difficult challenges await at every turn. Fight your way across the island and wield unique combinations of mighty powers on every attempt. Rally more Scottish troops and grant them permanent upgrades as they acquire experience and grow stronger. The game is a medieval hack-and-slash co-op roguelike. Carve through hordes of enemies to reclaim your island with James?
It's not No Rest for the Wicked, is it?
It's not No Rest for the Wicked.
That's
no.
what I was thinking.
There's Scottish people in that, right?
Carve through hordes of enemies to reclaim your island with the help of your formidable Scottish battalion. As you advance deeper into the trenches, uncover more of the mysterious dragon meteor and the treacherous enemy invasion. The Dragonstone... Brody, was that a guess?
No, you just threw me with the dragon thing.
The Dragonstone meteor
Britney's
event brought
dance beat.
swarms of occupiers to your doors, and along with it, mysterious and dangerous powers. Inscribe your name in legends and lead your troops in a campaign to reclaim your home.
This is that game that was shown at like Summer Game Fest, isn't it?
It was, yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of what it was called. It's 3 words.
Yep, it is. Yep.
Oh,
Tribes of Midgard.
No, Shannon, but you kind of. I see the cogs turning. It's as much of a compliment as I can pay that guess.
I'm going to give it away
red
here. But
beards.
no, I'm going to give it away here. I know one of the words is like, is it metal?
Yes.
Something of metal.
I will say, Shannon, like Tribes of Midgard, is like
Tribes of Metal.
the 3 letters of those are
James.
correct.
Brody.
James. Oh.
No, I think James.
James, I heard you first. Yeah.
Is it Tales of Metal?
Brody.
No, Brody.
Tears of Metal.
Tears of Metal. Tears of Metal is the correct answer. Well done, Brody. Bumps you up to 14 points there. Well done. Game number 2. 8 co-op players spawn across one huge map, deploying their wits and deadly reflexes to unite and survive against the unstoppable forces of the undead. Players must communicate and strategize to survive, with danger lurking in every shadow. Carve your path through the horde with combat or cunning. There are multiple ways to tackle any scenario, but character permadeath creates huge consequences for every bad decision, as the undead react to every move and noise you make. Brody?
Is it like See You in Hell 2?
No, it's not.
Like that. Is it something like that?
You're on the right track. Draw foes away with a car alarm, lead them directly into the teeth of a trap, or go with a more forceful approach of explosive action. The game is an intense and terrifying permadeath co-op journey into the eerie darkness of zombie-infested zones. As an emergency responder, you must survive, scavenge, stockpile, and fulfill your mission, then repeat, each time in an ever-changing experience. Brody is definitely on the right trajectory.
See You in Hell.
No. It's funny, if you remember No Rest for the Wicked, the kind of like structure of the title is kind of similar in this case.
No Rest for the Undead.
No, but that sounds great.
Brody.
Brody?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is it?
Really testing your like knowledge
I know the
of
exact
Summer
games
Game
you're
Fest
talking about.
stuff here.
My audio is dropping out, so I've heard half of this.
Oh.
No, I don't know.
It's a co-op zombie
know-
game that was announced at Summer Game Fest, James.
Yeah, I know what it is.
I
can
was
see
tuning
it.
out.
It's like here in my brain's eye.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Give us another little hinty, and then
Another...
Oh,
Oh, James, has he got it? Ooh. Think about like what space are you occupying at the moment? Are you in? What are you in? Each of us individually are.
No Room in
one of-
Hell.
Brody.
No, it's
Shannon, do you want another crack at that?
No
You're
Room
not
in
quite right,
Hell.
but you're so close. Like I could pay it.
I know it's. I remember now, but I don't know.
Brody.
Brody.
There's Room in Hell.
No, you don't know it. Brody.
Shannon, you're such
There's
a dumbass.
no place in. No place in hell.
Brody, what's the answer?
No more Room in Hell 2.
Well done. Nicely done, Brody. And that's
Was there a no more room in hell
clean
one? Like
sweep.
Apparently.
Not that
game
we really
didn't
got so
work.
far as to get to the theme of that, because Brody clean swept and got himself an extra point.
stupid games nobody's heard of.
No,
another
these
one.
were games that I put on my Steam wish list during the show.
What's steaming? Give us another one just for fun.
You want one more? We're an hour already.
I don't care. I'm already tired.
Okay. As pro climber Ava,
Brody.
you want by
James.
Brody.
Can.
Can't.
Yeah. All right,
I
game
knew
number
that
4.
one.
Players Luca, the host, and Reem, her less than cooperative counterpart, as they explore a quarantine city ripped apart and flooded by an interdimensional catastrophe. Their only hope of survival is learning to coexist. It is a fast-paced action side-scroller with combat inspired by platform fighters, a story told through dangerous characters set in a deep, interconnected world ready for exploration.
Sounds good.
That was Possessors.
Oh, yes. The Devolver Heart
Yeah.
Machine game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for the Can people because they come out and say, we want to do something that hasn't been done before. I'm like, didn't Jasaunt just come out? Like, it's another climbing game. I was like, oh, poor guys. Anyway.
And they were like, this is gameplay if you can believe it. And you could definitely believe it.
You're
That's
just being
rude.
mean. It's true, but don't say it.
And you could definitely believe it.
Yeah, I think they more meant like that the character was emoting that way in gameplay, and it wasn't a cutscene. I think that's what they meant.
Her legs were shaking. She was getting jittery.
She was just screaming the whole time.
If you
They
can
were
believe
using
it.
the Assassin's Creed Shadows engine.
It seems like not that I'm a member of the climbing community, but it sounds like it looks like it's quite representative of like the challenges that you have to like.
We'll ask
face.
Mark
How could you
Serrels.
make a comment like that when you don't you don't
Well,
know?
I don't know. It seems to be about like the puzzle solving of climbing a wall, which I hear is part of the interest.
Okay.
It doesn't,
Anyhow,
of
we're
all the
getting
things we see
delirious.
in games, like it doesn't seem that complex.
Look, I'm sure
Gosh,
Can's
you're
going to be
really
a great
just
game.
piling it on. Okay,
We're all excited for Can.
These two are jet lagged. Let's get them to bed.
Like,
With that, let's bring it
a
end to
few
this
movements.
week's episode of the
Thank you
Press
for
Start
explaining
podcast.
how we climb.
Subscribe on Listener or the podcast service of your choice. Follow us at press.au and visit the site at press.com.au. We've been joined today by Brody.
Thank you. You can follow me on most things at Brody_DG. Go and read all the previews from Summer Game Fest, Shannon's and mine. And there's more to come still.
Giving Shannon a second to compose himself, I'll farewell you, James. Thank you for being on the show.
Oh, yeah. Thanks as well. You can find me on X at Jams ATJAMZ.
And last but not least, it was Shannon.
Yes, you can find me on Shannon Grixty, where I'm publishing videos from Summer Game Fest and my Taiwan trip
Nice.
as well. So go look at them.
Yeah, you squeezed in a trip to Computex as well. Wild. And I've been your host, Ewan. You can follow me on socials at Ewan_Roxborough. Maybe I'll go rock climbing this weekend and see what it's all about, and I'll post all about it on Instagram. Thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, happy gaming.
Bye.
Bye.